So you had a very close relationship with Black Rob, right? Can you talk about meeting Black Rob and what kind of friendship that you guys had?
Um, me and Black Rob, man, I met him through another friend of mine, a guy named Puka Broxy. Black Rob, he was just talking to town when he signed the Bad Boy. I heard of him. Dude was like, yo, the kid from Jefferson, man, he just signed the Bad Boy. And I was like, wow, that's dope, and I had never met him though. You know what I mean? So
How old are you at this time?
I was about 22, 23,
Okay.
22. When I heard of him, I could say 23 because, he had signed, I think in about 97 or 96 or something like that. And I had heard of him, when I came home. I did a quick bid. I did like a 11-month bid in 96 and I came home in 97. And people were talking about him. They said, yeah, man. They were talking about, guys like Mace. Mace had got signed to Bad Boy, and they were like, yo, yeah, Mace got signed, man. Mace got signed to Bad Boy. Before I had left in 96, he wasn't signed yet, Mace. And he was like, yo, so when I came home, he was the talk of the town as well. Yo, and then Black Rob became the talk of the town. Yo, they signed the Black Rob kid too. He from right over here. Da, da, da. So, but I never met Black Rob. I didn't know, of him or anything like that. I didn't know, what he looked like. Dudes told me, yo, you know him. I'm telling you, you used to see him. He used to be here. He used to be through here. So I was like, I can't really place the face, man. And then, so my man knew him, and I used to let my man listen to this kid. I used to let him listen to my demos a lot. You know what I mean? And so he had one of my tapes, a song called Dollar Bill, and Black Rob heard it. And then so he told Black Rob told him like, yo, I want to meet this kid, So one day he brought Black Rob over to our neighborhood, and he came running down the block. Yo, Black Rob up the block. He want to meet you. I'm like, meet me for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, and he was like, nah, he want to hear you. I'll let him hear your rhymes and all of that. I let him hear the demo. I was like, oh, okay. So I runs up, I goes up there with him. I met him. That was the first time I met him. And, he just was like, he just wanted to show me some love. He was like, yo, man. He's like, yo, man. He's like, yo, get busy, man. He was like, yo, I like that joint, man. That dollar bill was nice, man. I was like, word, thank you, man. He's like, yo, look. He was like, yo, man. He was like, yo, I want you to get on my album. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I'm going to give you my number. I thought he was just kind of trying to big me up and keep my spirits up and like one of those things. Because I was out in the street, you know what I mean? I was doing, everybody knew what we was all doing out there. Dudes ain't have no direction, you know what I'm saying? So he was just like, I thought he was just, just trying to keep me, motivated, you know what I'm saying? And encouraged. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna give you my number, man. Give me your number. I'm gonna call you. And, I want you to get on my album. I was like, word. He's like, yeah. I was just happy that he liked the stuff that I did. Like, you know what I mean? That I did, So I was just like, yeah, all right, cool. So sure enough, he called me, you know what I mean? A couple of weeks later.
I bet you that showed you a lot about who he was as a person because he did that. Because he didn't owe you anything, but he thought that much of you to be like, yo, let me throw you on my album.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's crazy. But
that's super great, yeah, man. It was ill, man. It was a blessing, man. It was definitely a blessing. Like I said, I didn't expect him to call, man. One day, my nephew came running down the block, and he was like, "Yo, man, Auntie said Black Bob just called." I was like, "Black Bob." I never forget that, man. Every time I see him, I be like, "Yo, remember you called Black Bob?" And he don't really remember. He be like, yeah, I remember. I be like, man, you don't remember that. But anyway, so he was like, yo, Black Bob called. I was like, yo, Black Rob? He was like, yeah, Black Rob. I was like, yeah, all right. He was like, yo, Auntie said come upstairs He said he gonna call back in 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay. So I go up there, I had already wrote the rhyme because, I kind of wanted to be prepared. I don't know why. I kind of had a feeling he was going to call, but then again, I was like, nah. But I said, just in case, I'm going to write the rhyme. You know what I mean? So I wrote, I got one night, got my, my little ritual going, watching VHSs and chilling and, sitting up there with my wifey at the time, you know what I'm saying? And she wrote the rhyme and all of that. And so when he called, I was prepared. So I kind of was eager to like go spit it. You know what I mean? So, when my nephew told me I'll go upstairs, and then sure enough he calls and he's like, "Yo, Dad, you ready?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yo, come down to the studio, and we gonna get it on, and I want you to get on the joint I was telling you about." I was like, "All right, cool." So that's how that went.
What was your reaction when he passed away?
Man, it was rough, man. When he passed, I know, like I said, man, I don't know if you've seen other interviews, but I really was, that was the first time I really cried like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was like he was a part of me. You know what I mean? He was a part of me, and it was apparent at that moment that a part of me was going to be, around in a different form. You know what I mean? So I had to realize, how different things were going to be. You know what I mean? And it just hit me right there that I wasn't going to see him when I came home. So
Because you guys maintained a close relationship even throughout those years that you were incarcerated, right?
yeah. I mean, when I was on Rikers Island, we spoke a lot more. When I came up north, we just spoke more like through people. Yo, Black Rob set me up. Yo, tell him I said I love him, man. Tell him to hold his head, man. I see what he's doing out there. I'm hearing him, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But we were close enough that it was what it was. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna hold your hand when you locked up. It's a blessing.
Right.
It's a blessing. That you get people to come and see you. You know what I mean? Or at least even pay attention to the fact you're in there for that matter. But
because I know that he was going through a lot of things during those years as well. But it's good to know that you guys still like spoke to each other, even if it was through other people, to just let each other know that the love is still there. Even if you guys don't talk on a regular like that.
Right, definitely. That was our relationship at that point. Yo, tell Depp I said what up, man, or he'll do a one of those videograms. We have videograms after a while,
Right.
and he would say, he would send me a shout out, yo, Depp, yo, hold your head, yo, I love you, da da da, stuff like that. I would hit him back, send him a message, yo, tell PR I said hold his head, man. I hear him out there, I see him, stuff like that.
Cuban Link is my bro, right? Shout out to him. And he told a story of meeting up with Black Rob back in the day at Justin's restaurant. And Black Rob started rapping some lyrics, and he said, "That's G Depp. That's coming soon." That's how much love that he had for you. Man, roll the clip.
Oh, when I used to go to Justin's to restaurants over here in New York, 21st Street and shit. I remember I used to always chill with Black Rob in there. And one day and shit, he was just kicking rhymes to me while I was eating. It was just me and him. He was across, the seat from me and shit. I was there dolo. He came, sat down on my table, and he was like, "Go down, my nigga, whatever." He was kicking in shit, and he was just spitting new rhymes. He spit like 3 verses, and I was like, "That's your shit, nigga." He was just going back to back. I was so excited. And those were Black. That was G Dep's rhymes. They was working on G Dep's album. And he was just so excited. He was like, "Nah, it's my brother G Dep, man. He's coming out soon. Watch, wait till you hear his shit." And I was like, "Word, this is fire." And he was kicking word for word like G Dep shit.
Wow. I ain't know that. Yeah, that's dope,
Yeah,
man.
when
That was my brother, man. I looked up to him, man, too. I looked up to him, so I wouldn't really know, that he big me up like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's great.
yeah, man.